Have Arsenal found their next Luka Modric? Yes, people, welcome back to another Arsenal transfer news video. As always, if you do not want to miss daily Arsenal transfer news vids, this is the place to be. Make sure you subscribe down below. I'm road to 4,000 subscribers. And importantly, because a lot of people forget this, hit the bell notification button so you never miss a future video on this channel. And let me know in the comment section your thoughts on Martin Baturina, who Arsenal have been linked to today. Have you heard of him? Probably not. To be honest, I hadn't either. I searched him up obviously to do this video for you guys, and the first thing I saw, the main headline was, is he going to be the next Luka Modric? Let's be honest, probably not. But you never know. And that's who Arsenal have been linked to today, according to Punch Drunk Arsenal, who says this: Arsenal added Dinamo Zagreb midfielder Martin Baturina, 20 years of age, to their list of transfer targets, as reported by Ryan Taylor Sport. He's valued at around 10 to 12 million pounds, and he's a Croatian youth international. Now here's the thing, right, with Croatian players. They make good midfielders. I'm not going to lie to you lot. Croatia go far in a lot of international tournaments. They're not a big country. They're a very small country, if anything. And they don't have a lot of relevance in the world of football. But they go far in international tournaments because their midfield is so strong. Kovacic, Brozovic, Luka Modric, Rakitic, midfielders. Croatia spawns midfielders. If this guy is anything like those four, we're in for a treat, Arsenal. Now, are we going to get this deal over the line? To be fair, it's one that can happen. It's not a lot of money. It's a bit of a punt. It's a bit of a risk. But you make these signings. It's like, I talked about the Bitello guy that also been linked to, the young Brazilian from Gremilo. Look, it's not an awful lot of money. It's not someone anyone's really heard of. But you take those punts in transfer windows. Every transfer window, you sign a young player for £10 million or so, not really expecting an awful lot. It's a risk. They might turn out to do nothing and you've wasted £10 million, or they do absolutely brilliantly and you've quadrupled, if not more, your money that you spent on them. Just like Martinelli, for example. Signed him for 5 million, 6 million from Ituano, meant to be in the academy, done so well, got into the first team. 4 years later, he's worth about £100 million. Best ROI ever. Warren Buffett should take notes. Do you get what I mean? So this player here, Martin, I've forgotten his name already. Martin Baturina, that's the one. Have I heard an awful lot about him? Absolutely not. From what I've seen of him, right, he plays in the Croatian league for Dinamo Zagreb. He's a midfielder, primarily an attacking midfielder, but can play in centre midfield. Got a few goals, to be fair. I believe 8 goals in 45 appearances in the Croatian league. So not too bad, not awful. Obviously not a great return, but he's added goals at least to this season. And he's someone that's got the raw ability I can see, but nowhere near finished article whatsoever. And it's someone that we could train and develop onto the squad, and someone that could get minutes in the FA Cup and going forward. Now, this is the thing with Arsenal, right? These are the type of players you sign. Like I said, you sign one of them every transfer window. No Arsenal fan can sit here and go, oh, he's going to be the next big thing. Oh, it's absolutely fantastic signing. I'm so delighted Arsenal making a move on him. Because if they're saying that, they're either Croatian, I've watched him week in, week out, or they're lying through their teeth. I haven't watched him week in, week out. I've researched him for about 30 minutes before I did this video. If that. 25, 30 minutes. So I knew a little bit about him. And from what I read, it was decent. From the compilations I watched, it wasn't too bad. But compilations paint one picture and real life is another. If I watch compilations of Yaya Sanogo, he'd probably look like Prime R9. Do you get what I mean? So compilations only speak so much. It's like when we signed Arsenal, signed Declan Rice, right? I knew we were in for a treat. I didn't even bother watching compilations. I've watched Declan Rice week in, week out for West Ham at times. I know that player's an absolute baller. Urian Timber, I haven't watched an awful lot of him, but in the Champions League, he looked decent. I remember watching him against Liverpool, and he looked really good in there. Great defender at times, and slots into midfield as well. Kai Havertz equally, not a massive fan of the signing, but I'd seen him week in, week out, so I could make a good judgment on the player, I believe. With this guy, not an absolute clue, man. I've seen compilations, seen a few stats. He's been called the next Luka Modric, but I'm pretty sure anyone that's a midfielder that's made the team from early, young, is going to be called the next Luka Modric if they come from Croatia, right? I think that's just the way it is in life sometimes. A lot of hype around wonder kids. Look, he's 20 years of age. He's still got a lot of potential. And if Arsenal do bring him in, no qualms about him whatsoever. My thing is, right, if you're going to sign these players like Bitello and like this guy for 10, 15 million pounds, as long as it doesn't hinder the rest of our transfer business, I don't mind it whatsoever. I have no qualms with every summer you take one punt on a 10 million pound footballer no one's heard of that's got wonder kid status, and then hope they turn into something amazing. I don't have any problem with that. I don't think any Arsenal fans got a problem with that. As long as you don't substitute that for players that we should bring in. For example, I don't want Arsenal signing this guy and then turn around going, right, we've signed this player, we don't need another midfielder then. No, that makes absolutely no sense. That makes no sense whatsoever. That's like selling your best salesman and bringing in an intern. No. Yes, you've swapped one out for another, but there's nowhere near the same qualities. There's a massive gulf in quality and experience. Do you get what I mean? So if Arsenal sign this guy, but then also go on to sign a Tchouaméni or a Caicedo or Mohamed Kudus, fine, no problem whatsoever. But don't just bring him in and think, right, midfield sorted. That's what I want to make sure Arsenal don't do. But other than that, look, Martin Baturina, 20 years of age, he's one of those players, man. One of those players, potential player for the future. Could Arsenal bring him in? To be honest, likelihood-wise, I think it's probably a 5 right now. I think it's more likely than João Felix. Like, João Felix came out in the paper talk, right? I don't think that one's really happening whatsoever. I just can't see it happening. He might be a transfer target, but I don't see Arsenal spending the money we raise on João Felix. He's too similar of a profile to Kai Havertz for me. Like, Arsenal should be looking at either a plan B striker or a backup right winger. But for me, primarily a defensive midfielder. That's what I want to see Arsenal bring in. I think the two positions Arsenal desperately need to address is a proper defensive midfielder and a proper goal scorer. Because every team that wins the Premier League has a bagsman up front. And Jesus is fantastic at times. But Jesus is not an out-and-out goal scorer. He's not. He will not get you 20 Premier League goals a season. People might say if he didn't get injured, he would have got it. Nah, I don't think so. I genuinely don't believe so. I don't think he would have been anywhere near, to be honest. I think he would have got us 15, 16 max. You need a Premier League goal scorer that will get you 20 goals a season minimum. It's not even like a debate. You're not even sitting there going, is he going to get 20 goals this season? You're debating whether he's getting 30. Like Harry Kane, for example. At the start of the season, our Tottenham fans thinking, is Harry Kane going to get 20 goals this season? No, they're not. That's a foregone conclusion. That's the baseline. That's the minimum threshold. Tottenham fans debating whether Harry Kane's going to get you 30 goals a season. That's what I want type of striker to see Arsenal bring in. Because we're that close to winning the title, in my opinion. We're not a million miles away. And Man City this season have weakened. They've sold players like Riyad Mahrez. They've sold players like Ilkay Gundogan. Bernardo Silva could go. Kyle Walker could go. Yes, to bring in, for example, Josko Gvardiol, which is a fantastic player. Another one from Croatia, for example. Absolutely fantastic signing. Kovacic is a decent stopgap signing. But I think overall, Man City have slightly weakened. And there's still a lot of time left in the window for Pep to resurrect some things. But I also do believe Man City will have a drop-off. They've won the Champions League now. They're 3 pieces in the Premier League. They did the treble last season. Their heads will go a little bit. They will, inevitably. They'll get a little bit complacent. It happens all the time. All the time it happens. Even with Man City teams, it will happen. So, I think Arsenal got a good chance next season. We've strengthened from last season. Declan Rice is a fantastic signing. And we brought in our players like Urian Timber, which is brilliant. Havertz for more depth. Now, if we're able to sell some of these fringe players and bring in some more top talents like a Caicedo, Tchouaméni, etc., fantastic. I think we're in pole position next season to try and win the Premier League and Champions League, in my eyes. But that's got to be the main plan. Players like Martin Baturina, players like Bitello from Brazil, they're just potential players. They don't dictate the transfer window. They're players that you bring in one every summer, and you hope it turns into something good. And if not, so be it. You wasted £10 million. You could probably sell them for about 5, 6 if it turns into absolutely nothing. They're just risk players. You buy one every summer and see what happens. But they're not going to be players that are going to dictate whether we win the Premier League or not next season. Let's be real about it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you have had the pleasure of watching Martin Baturina, please do let me know in the comment section your thoughts on him. I'd love to hear it because I've obviously got a limited sample size. I've just seen some stats and a few compilations which don't mean anything, to be completely honest with you guys. Do I think this deal will happen? I'd give it like a 5 out of 10. Same with Bitello. I think we'll sign either him or Bitello. We'll sign one of these players. I don't know who it is quite now. To be honest, I don't think it really matters in the long term. I want to see the top players Arsenal bring in. That's what really matters to me. Players that are going to help us win the Premier League or Champions League next season. That's what I want to see Arsenal do. But yeah, if you made it to this far in the video and want to see daily Arsenal transfer news vids and you haven't already, make sure you subscribe down below. We're up to 4,000 subscribers. Hit the bell notification button so you never miss a future video on this channel. Drop a like down below so it gets out to more people in the algorithm. And I hope to catch you all in my next one. Take care.